Listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the virtual roundtable for July 16th, 2015. Today we are meeting with a couple of people from our tourism team. Diane Norton is the manager of the tourism team, and Jill Eden is the grants analyst. So they will be taking you through some exciting things with their program. If you have any questions, if you could please type them out and we'll get to them as we go. I think that's about it. I'm going to hand it over to Diane.
Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Before I dive into the business of tourism, I wanted to kind of give you an update of some things that have happened this past year on what's new of our tourism products. More importantly, some of the lodging expansions, remodels, and also a wonderful visitor center that is located in Twin Falls. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next screen.
That's you.
Oh, thank you. I guess that's me. Okay, first of all, what is new is the Yellowstone Grand Teton Geotourism Center opened up in the Driggs area that we are going to be promoting as the gateway into the region, and more importantly, making sure that visitors stop there so that they can receive information about visiting the national parks that are located on the Wyoming and Montana side. It is located in Driggs, and that opened up last year. Sun Valley Lodge just went through a renovation, and that opened up in June to a great fanfare. I have not seen the expansion since it has opened in June. However, the staff will be visiting the next week. We will be taking a visit there and doing an educational outreach field trip. And so we'll be stopping here at Sun Valley Lodge. And then also we're going to be stopping at the new Twin Falls Visitor Center that is located in Twin Falls. We're very excited about that. So those are kind of the new things that have happened in the past year. First of all, I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year in advance. Our fiscal year ended June 30th, and our fiscal year runs July 1st through June 30th. So Happy New Year to everybody. We're in FY16. We had a great year, and we ended in a bang. A lot of the research that we received back from the National Park Service in Wyoming, Montana, and also Idaho, more importantly Idaho, is the economics of what the national parks do and the national monuments do in the state. We also have almost to the conclusion of our 18 Summers campaign that was dialed up on April 1st, and it dials down on July 31st. So you still have an opportunity to win a vacation getaway. Now I'm going to move into the business of tourism and how exactly our business model works. First of all, it is our mission to build Idaho's economy through visitor expenditures, more importantly, overnight expenditures. And how we do that is through a dedicated 2% bed tax. And that 2% bed tax is a tax that is placed on lodging in Idaho, lodging places in Idaho, and also private campgrounds. Those funds then are given to the tax commission, and it is our duty at the Department of Commerce, Tourism Development to do our due diligence and make sure that we spend those dollars to increase visitation to the state. What we do have the assistance of that we're very thankful for is we have an Idaho Travel Council, and that Idaho Travel Council is an 8-member board that is appointed by the governor. And what they do is help also with all the grant allocation dollars that are given throughout the state as well. So again, our business model is the 2% dedicated bed tax by private campgrounds and lodging facilities. And then from that 100% of dollars that we receive, it is split up into 3 different buckets. One bucket is 45%, and that 45% goes back to statewide programs that we oversee in the Tourism Development Office. 45% of the other 45% goes and is granted out across the state, and Jill's going to touch on that at the end of the presentation. And then the other 10% is for admin costs, which runs our office itself with wages, etc. Going back to our year end, over $8.6 million in lodging tax was generated in FY15. We're very excited about that. This is our second year, this is actually our second year in a row, in consecutive row, that we have surpassed over 8 million. Last year was our first year on record that we surpassed 8 million, and this is our second year we've surpassed 8 million. So we're very excited about that because it gives us more money to spend to promote Idaho, but more importantly, it also gives more money to our grant program so that we have take care of the different regions around the state. And this coming August 19th in Sun Valley, we will have our grant awards, and I'm sure Jill will touch on that. Over $3.6 million will be awarded in the tourism marketing programs. So I'm just going to touch a little bit about who overnights and our guests and what they spend on their dollar. 1.4 billion was spent in 2013, and this is our Longwoods International Research. And this is the way the dollar is split out. You can see the majority of the dollar is spent in lodging facility, almost 34%, and then it trickles down there. But also they do food and beverage, retail, transportation, 11% in recreation. This is important to know because tourism touches several businesses that we might not think about. For instance, the taxi cab in your local community, or the retail owner, or the food and beverage people, the cafes. We have several tentacles. We're almost like an octopus where we have our hands and we help hands in several different areas, especially for economic growth. It is an economic engine. One of the relationships we have, or one of the memberships we have, we belong to the U.S. Travel Association. We're located in Washington, D.C., and what they are is we use them to facilitate a lot of the research. They have world-class research. They're always researching the tourism model and the economic impact of tourism. So you'll see here, and this is a little, they're about 3 years behind in their research right now, so they're catching up. But this slide is from, I believe, 2012. So 4.1 billion was spent in Idaho, 532.5 million in tax receipts, and 25,000 jobs, excuse me. That number has dialed up a little bit, which we like to see as well. So where do visitors come from and where do they live? So this again is from our Longwoods research in 2013. Idahoans love Idaho. So that is our number one visitor, is in our own backyard. Number two is Washington, Utah, California, Oregon, and then other western states, and then outside the 11 western states. So you can see kind of where we focus our marketing on. We focus our marketing on the west, but because of technology and because of how fast technology is moving, we have an opportunity to open up the aperture of our target marketing through several different platforms that we work with and partners that we have. So not only can we also skew it to the northwest and the west, we can open that up, and people can be served up Idaho information if they live in Florida, if they live in New York, because of the way that technology is moving right now. So the next time we do our Longwoods research, we might see some other states populate up or percolate up that we were unaware of, and it's because of the technology that's out there that we can serve up opportunities to visit Idaho. This is our international footprint. 30,000 overseas visitors came to Idaho, and that is through our partnership with U.S. Commercial Services. These are actually people who fill out their passports saying they are coming directly to Idaho. This is not Canada, this is not Mexico, this is specifically overseas. And that was supplied to us again from U.S. Commercial Services. Canadians also, they love Idaho. 305,000 overnight only, and then 683 overnight and day. Canadians spent about $101 million, and that is all from Stats Canada. Stats Canada's awesome job of the research. They collect all that data at the border, and they really share it. They share it with all the states, the bordering states of Canada. So the way we craft our message. And I think this is really, really important. Idaho is a good value. Somebody can take $1 and make it stretch in Idaho. We're not expensive like California. We're not expensive like Washington, Oregon, Wyoming. There is good value. It's a great destination for families. It's filled with beautiful scenery, lakes, rivers, and mountains. We all know that. But the thing that we do have, and we have to always remember, sometimes when you live in your own backyard, you forget about the beauty of your own state. You really need to kind of stand back and really appreciate what we have and share that with the visitors that come. And we're very diverse in our outdoor recreation. And those are the types of messages that we like to display when we're having our advertising message, whether it's in print, whether it's in digital. We are a very visual state, so we make sure that that exudes through all of our opportunities that we share. And our tourism marketing goals. Our primary focus is on, again, building the lodging and camping base, marketing Idaho as a preferred travel and convention destination. Conventions are very important to the state as well, and promoting events and recreation activities that result in overnight visitation. So how do we do that? This is kind of our toolkit of what we use right now. Video is very important. Everybody knows the power of video. We have a YouTube channel, Visit Idaho. You can go to youtube.com/Visit Idaho, and you will be able to follow us and also tag and repurpose any videos that you would like. We invite you to do that. You can repurpose them on your website. So video is very important. Photography. We are such a beautiful state. We photograph so well. So we use a lot of photography in our toolkit. Social media. For those of you that are on social media, we invite you to engage with our social media platform, either through hashtags or through our different accounts, through Twitter, Facebook, etc. And we also, if you could put this down, I do not have this on the slide, but hashtag Visit Idaho is our hashtag that we use. And through July 31st, which is coming up quickly, is 18 Summers. Also our website, our gateway or our flagship website is visitidaho.org. That's where you can get all the information that you need. Oh, okay. Visit Idaho is our main flagship website. And then we also have a promotional website through for our summer, 18summers.us. And our overall marketing tools for consumers. Consumers, again, we send out an e-blast, and we also are repurposing some of our content into blog format and putting them through our newsletters as well. So our marketing avenues, magazines, family, boomers, adventure as our demo groups. We do an annual FSI with Mad Media, and that's a drop-through newspaper. And we also work with a lot of editors and travel writers from across the country that want to come in and experience Idaho. One thing I do need to mention is our print is probably about 10% right now, and that 10% is a combo buy with our digital. So we're about 90% digital with our advertising. Again, our prime season magazine ads there, you will see that those were displayed in different publications: Sunset, Seattle Mag, Seattle Met, Outdoors Northwest, and 425 magazine. Typical two-page spread. This was about, oh, summer so fast. This is our summer campaign called 18 Summers, which is our prime season, which was April through July, and this is focused on the family traveler with kids. And what the message was is you have 18 summers with your kiddos, spend one of them in Idaho or spend several in Idaho and make memories in Idaho. This is our FSI that I just spoke about. This is where we dropped the FSI. Seattle, Spokane, Salt Lake City, Ogden, Boise, Portland, Tri-Cities, and Sacramento East Bay. And there was 515 inserts, and we're just getting the numbers back from that as well. Inside of this particular FSI, there's always a query information that you can go in and log in and ask for additional information. There again, some photos, some pictures of some of our main campaign, our on-prime season online ads. And then also we have purchase keywords on Google. We also work with the Matador Network. Matador Network is new to us, and that is a content network, and they do some really creative content on our behalf, and then we can repurpose it on our website as well. So I invite you to Google Matador Network, and then add on Visit Idaho, and you'll see some very great articles out of there. On the Snow is our winter platform that we work for to promote not only our snow but also our winter activities. TripAdvisor, we do have an Idaho travel form. For those of you that do engage in TripAdvisor, use TripAdvisor for advice or go on there and search for different reviews, we really invite you to engage in our travel form. If you Google TripAdvisor Travel Idaho travel form, that'll pull up, and what it is it aggregates all of the information and all the questions that come across the TripAdvisor platform into one area, and we have one of our staff members that monitors that and interacts with the people that are asking questions. I open this up to you because it's really important. There might be a question that's asked about your community. Not only travel, they ask other questions, so I ask you to engage in that, and that really helps us deliver messages that might not be able to be answered by other people that are in that travel form. So again, please Google TripAdvisor Idaho travel form, and please engage in that if you do have any type of avatar that you're in there. Also, Brand USA. Brand USA is our partner that we work with right now and with all of our Canada marketing. There it is. They came through several different times. Last year they came through and they did a road trip. They did a road trip along the Oregon Trail, and they brought influencers from UK and Germany. And they went along and they posted photos, they did live posts, they did live tweets, and they talked about the history and the unique features of Idaho along the Oregon Trail. Again, I bring up social media and social marketing. That's very, very important. It shows continuous good ROI for us, and how we track that is we have everything connected with our Google Analytics. So we can go in and see how many interfaces, what Facebook is feeding to our main portal website, Visit Idaho. Again, Twitter, Flickr, YouTube, Pinterest. For those of you that are in Pinterest, please follow our board. We have a very interactive board, a lot of history, a lot of facts, a lot of community facts that I think you would appreciate. And there again, I'm going to bring up TripAdvisor. I don't want to beat it to death, but it's really important to be in the TripAdvisor travel form to help us out as much as you can. Travel guides and brochures. We have one important piece that we publish a year, and that's in January. It's an Idaho travel guide, and it features all of the lodging properties across the state, and then also has some very inspirational content in there and a lot of photos and imagery. And that is published in January. And then also we publish the 4th grade children's brochure, talking about all the fun things that 4th graders can do in Idaho. And it's also important we continue printing this because the children in Idaho have a special time of year that they do focus on Idaho, so this assists them. But it's also popular with other states as well. We get quite a few requests for that. Moving on, we also have our printed guide available in the flipbook version online. So you can go in and you can interact with that online. We would like the online version as well because we can check the metrics on that. And the beauty about the online guide is that you can share it with your family and friends. You can print off a specific page, but you can also post it through an email, or you can also share it through your social media sites. Now I'm going to hand the keyboard over to Jill. Thank you. Did you have any questions at all?
I didn't see any pop up.
Okay.
Yeah, so far no.
Okay.
We will. Maybe, hopefully.
Okay, my name is Jill Eden, and I am the grant analyst for the ITC grant. And this is the Idaho Regional Travel and Convention Grant Program. And as Diane said before, the grant program receives 45% of that 2% bed tax. So 45% of that is going to regional nonprofit incorporated organizations. These are our eligible applicants that have viable travel or convention programs in place. And typically, right now, what that looks like is chambers of commerce, convention and visitor bureaus, and I think we have 2 economic development associations that are also grantees that are, as you know, part of their focus in their communities is tourism. So they are implementing a tourism program for their communities as well. So what the ITC grant funds, these funds are mostly basically meant for marketing, marketing our communities directly. Tourism markets the state as a whole and does some co-op advertising with locals, but these grant funds are meant for local communities to market themselves and draw tourists in. So what that looks like, advertising, the grant will pay for advertising, collateral materials, brochures, things like that. Direct marketing, websites, and social media. Those are both quickly overtaking any print materials. And what we see requests for familiarization tours, trade shows are fairly important to our grantees. And we also have, importantly, things that we don't fund. What the ITC does not fund is organizational expenses, any overhead administrative expenses, salary or personnel, anything that we know has been funded previously with agencies on funds. Sometimes those are deemed ineligible. So like I said before, the ITC really wants to focus on marketing, and so we I know there's a lot of need for the administrative items and for salaries and whatnot, but that is one thing that the ITC does not cover. So we are currently in the middle of or wrapping up our 2015 application process. So generally, March 1st is the application opening date, sometimes a little later, but generally the first week of March. By the end of April, we have a deadline for a courtesy review before presenting to the ITC, to the council. May is the presentations to the Idaho Travel Council for any grant applications that are over $50,000. It's highly recommended that they present to the council. So the first Monday in June is the application due date, and the first part of August, mid-August, are the grant awards. So right now, we've completed most of that, and right now the council is scoring the applications and will be making their funding decisions mid-August. So the availability of grant funds, it just depends on that 2% tax collection, and it's sounding really well for this year at 3.6 million or thereabouts. So the total of grant awards can exceed the amount of funds available to that region. And the way that works is each region, the state's divided up into 7 regions. Each region gets that percentage of whatever was collected in their region. So that's the amount that's available to that region. So awards just can't exceed that amount that's available. The ITC grant also has a match requirement. So that is 12.5% cash match for every dollar of funding received. And also the decision making on the grant is the Idaho Travel Council. It's an 8-member body appointed by the governor. There is 1 representative from each region, and then we also have an at-large member. And as I said before, they're scoring the applications now, and we'll be making funding decisions soon. And they are excellent to get in touch with if you have any interest in applying for a grant and want to know what's going on in your region already. And I also recommend contacting me or finding, our website also has a list of current grantees. So if any of you see this need in your area, I would definitely recommend, especially for smaller communities, seeing who is already a grantee and finding, just kind of checking out to see if there's any ways you can work with them and do different. There's always different co-op advertising opportunities. Our grantees are pretty good at working together and trying to, everybody's success feeds the next person's success. So the more people we can get to Idaho, the better. So working together has definitely worked out well for our grantees. I think that is all I have. And please let me know if you have any questions about that. Can we pull up the tourism website? Or not the grant website. I think it was that last. Yeah. So on Idaho Commerce's website, towards the right, we have tourism resources. There's all kinds of good information in there, and I'm going to direct you specifically to the ITC grant program. And we always post here application opportunities when it's open. There's also a list of the applicants or current grantees, so you can see who's currently been funded. It's always a good place to check and see who you could be working with currently. And there's contact information, and that's really all I have. So I will turn it back over to Diane. Just close it out.
Okay.
Oops. Okay.
All right, this is Diane, and we invite you to connect with us and market with us. This is, again, our consumer website, visitidaho.org. This is our suppliers listing update. This is where you can go in as a lodging in Idaho or an attraction in Idaho, and you can add your listing, and that website is updateidaho.com. We also have all the resources, which Jill just alluded to, the tourism.idaho.gov. That's also a landing page that'll have information not only about the grants, but also information about upcoming conferences that we'll be having around the state. We do have a free media room, and this is for nonprofit organizations. And there is a URL right there. You go in and you can register. And then once you get registered, there's over 6,000 images that are royalty-free that you can use as long as you're a nonprofit. This is our Twitter handle at Visit Idaho, our Facebook, Visit Idaho. And our Idaho Conference on Recreation and Tourism is coming up May 3rd through 5th in Moscow. We invite you to attend that as well. That particular conference rotates around the state, and it's always the first full week in May. Thank you for supporting tourism, and do you have any questions?
No, we don't have any questions so far. Okay, well, thank you, Diane and Jill, for that information. If anybody has any questions or would like to access a recording of this presentation, you can email me at amanda.ames@commerce.idaho.gov, and I will be happy to answer your questions or point you in the right direction. So,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.